What's up, everybody? I'm going to be talking about my top 10 films of the 1960s. Starting off with number 10, the film that I gave in the 10th spot was Thunderball. It was released in 1965, and this film is about James Bond trying to recover some nuclear warheads from the bottom of the ocean. It was a memorable film because it had the one of the top 10 Bond villains, and also it was a film that I really enjoyed because a lot of it was spent filming underwater, so that's why I really enjoyed Thunderball, and I would place it as my top 10 movies. Coming in at number 9 was 1964's Sergio Leone's masterpiece, A Fistful of Dollars. Now, this is the first of the Dollars trilogy, and we get to see Clint Eastwood, who plays the stranger with no name, coming in and tearing shit up in a Mexican border town. He tries to get two families that are at conflict and get them to fight against each other while he exploits them and makes money from them. So that is my number 9 film. At number 8, I put the classic James Bond from Russia with Love. It was released in 1963. We get to see James Bond take on the Soviets, and he tries to retrieve an encryption device and return it back to the MI6. And we encounter a couple of classic bad guys. We get to see what Spectre's all about. I like this film because of the locations that they chose to take Bond to, and that's why this film, for me, deserved to be in the top 10. Another film that was in the top 10 that I really enjoyed was my number 7 choice, Once Upon a Time in the West. A classic by Sergio Leone again, when we thought it couldn't be done or replicated. After the Dollars trilogy, he released Once Upon a Time in the West. It stars Charles Bronson as Harmonica, a man that we don't hear too much about, and he's here to get his revenge on a man named Frank, and there's a lot of deceit and deception going on in the film as they fight over property. And in number 6, I chose the film Dr.No. This was the first film of the Bond series and the one that kicked everything off. And this film really set the bar high. We got to see Sean Connery, who for me was unknown until I've actually seen this film, take Bond to new heights and really put him on the map. He portrayed Bond in the best way possible, and for me, Sean Connery will always be the true Bond. That's why Dr. No is in my top 10. At number 5, I decided to put For a Few Dollars More. This is the second film in the Dollars trilogy. It was released in 1965, and along with Clint Eastwood, we get to see Lee Van Cleef, who gets added to the cast, and there's not one but two characters that exemplify total badassness. I don't even know if that's a word, but this film is, for me, one of the best westerns of all time, and it deserves to be in the top 10. Number 4, I decided to put the original Django film at number 4, and it was released in 1966. It stars Italian actor Franco Nero. We get to see Franco Nero as a quiet man that rolls into town, takes on the KKK, and also blows away an entire army with his machine gun that he's dragging around in his coffin. This movie, to me, was one of the greatest classics in Western film as well. So, number 3 is the James Bond Goldfinger film. It not only had a badass villain, but the movie had an interesting plot, and it also had one of the most memorable henchman, which was Oddjob. He would cut things with his hat. So if that's not badass, then I don't know what what is. The film overall was one of my favorite Bond films, and I picked it as my third film in the top 10 1960s films. Number 2 is Planet of the Apes. Now, this film spawned 4 sequels. It was released in 1968, and it is a film that stars Charleston Heston, and it was a film that really uh, put this franchise on the map. They had 2 additional shows and also a remake that came out in the 2000s. And this film for me is going to be always one of the best films of the 60s, and it was very well put together. Number 1, my favorite film of the 1960s is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. To me, this is the greatest Western film of all time. And I am so thankful that Sergio Leone decided to make these films. And this was definitely my favorite film out of the $3 trilogy. So I just wanted to say thank you again, everybody, for watching my top 10 picks of the 1960s. If you agree with what I've chosen, then let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you don't, I'd like to hear your top 10 at the comment section below. And in addition to that, let me know if you'd like to see more top 10 videos, because I enjoy doing this one. I will leave it off as that, and thanks again for watching, and everybody who keeps supporting the channel. And goodbye.